Guys, what's going on? It's your boy Battlefront Brothers here, and in this video I'm going to be doing the best star cards, guns, and yeah, for each of the classes in Star Wars Battlefront 2. So before we get into the star cards, I need to put out some rules here. If you have a different setup than me, then it's not that your setup is wrong, it's just that I don't use your setup. And yeah, so just telling you guys that if I don't use your setup, then if I don't use your setup, tell me in the comments what your setup is. And yeah, so let's jump into telling you guys star cards and the guns. So starting with the assault, there's two setups I would have for star cards. So first one, you always have this in no matter what game mode you're in. I would always suggest you have this in assault training. So if you defeat an enemy, you get 40 health back, and that's obviously the max of the star cards. So that means, like, if you're in trouble and there's 3 enemies surrounding you and you're hiding and you're at like 20 health, you get a kill, then you're already at like 60. And then when another person comes and you get that kill, you're going to be more well equipped for taking out squads, and it's going to be a lot easier to take out enemies and surviving also. So this setup is for getting it's just for like when you start the match, or like just your normal setup. This is my normal setup, by the way. So the next one I have is Bounty Hunter. It increases your rate of battle points by 20%, which getting the hero and getting battle points for like reinforcements and things, that really helps. So I always will run that star card no matter what situation I'm in. So yeah. Next up on my list I have Toughen Up. So it replaces Scan Dart as and Scan Dart wasn't the best ability, but this ability just makes your troopers so much better. And I can't even like stress how much this has saved my life so many times. Like, when this is active, you get automatic health regen. So if somebody shoots you, you automatically start regenning. You don't have to wait like 5-7 seconds. All you have to do is that's all you have to do. And one more setup. There's actually 2 setups that I have for the assault class. So the next one I have is, instead of Toughen Up, I replace it for if you're just trying to get battle points, then use this because it helps you get a lot of battle points. So yeah, moving on to our next one, we have just kills. Like, if this would be my blast setup, or like strike or something like that, like the smaller game modes. If you're not going for battle points or anything like that, I'd replace Bounty Hunter and the Acid Launcher for the Kill Streak Vanguard, and then your other one would be the improved grenade. The reason why I have the improved grenade is because it really helps you take out enemies, because it does it has a shorter recharge time, and it improves the thermal detonator blast radius. And I used to run this card all the time, but I don't run it anymore because I realized that Bounty Hunter was a better card. But this card, I think you should guys always use it. And then yeah, that's gonna do it for the assault star cards. And now we're gonna jump into the guns that I would use. Okay, so getting into the guns that you should use. So starting off, the number 1 gun that I usually run is the A280. The A280 is an amazing weapon, the best probably in the whole game. And the attachments I do, it improves cooling. This really improves your blaster, and it just makes it so much better and easier to fire. The next one is improved range. I don't like to use dual zoom because it makes it too much. It's too much, but improved range is just enough for me, and it extends the barrel that greatly enhances the bolt to maintain high damage over greater distances. So I like that one. And I'm just gonna use some general tips for the A280 in the situations you should be using them in. The situations that you should be using them in are like mid to short to mid, to medium, not long range, but medium range is perfect for the A280. It's a beast of a weapon, so yeah. Next up, we have on our list the next gun that I like to run in certain situations. The next two are situational. The next one is the CR2, and there's only a couple places that I run this weapon. I run this in close quarter situations. Like, I like to run this on, like, the ship phases. I like to run it on Death Star 2 and those close quarter maps. I use reduced recoil, and I use ion shot. And I do not like night vision. It zooms too far for the CR2, which I don't think that most people are going to like that attachment. I mean, you could try it out maybe for like one match or something like that and see if they'll like it. But I mean, just overall, I really like using the CR2. Like, in this map, I think the CR2 is great. It's great at taking out infantry and reinforcements. Obviously, it's not great at taking out heroes. Well, it is good at actually taking out heroes. If you can get headshots, this CR2 can do so much damage to heroes. Like, if you can sneak up on them, you can be so deadly. And headshots for the CR2 do so much damage because they're rapid fire. So if you get like one shot, you're probably going to get a lot more. So yeah, the last gun for the assault class that I have is E11D, the new weapon that came out in February. So the places that I like to use the E11D are kind of like long range places for the assault class. So like I use this weapon on Geonosis, Tatooine, sometimes Death Star 2, Hoth, Naboo. I like it on those maps. So yeah, the things that I run are reduced recoil and flashlight. I don't know why I run flashlight, but it's kind of cool. I just run it for no reason. But anyways, that's going to do it for the assault class. I'm just going to do one more video clip of me showing you some tips I have for the assault class. So yeah, guys. Guns that I use in certain situations, star cards, and now we're just going to go over some general tips. This is how I'm going to do it for each class. So going for the assault class, the best situation I think they're in is just like they're kind of like all rounders. Like they're good in all situations. So all situations, like they're good in close quarters if there's certain guns, the short mid to long range, and yeah. So I like them. I use them a lot. I just don't really use them when I'm trying to get the hero first because obviously the officer is the best at getting that hero. But I really like using the assault, like if I die as a hero or I don't get the hero. Like I like using them in most situations except getting the hero first. Or if I'm not trying to rack up battle points, I always just use the assault if I'm just want to have some fun, you know? If I'm just looking for just to have some fun, then I just use the assault because the assault class is kind of fun. I mean, really fun. And I like that they added the new weapons. And always, if you're waiting at a hallway door, crouch down with your Vanguard or your whatever gun you have. I really recommend your Vanguard, especially in Galactic Assault when you're defending a position. Then you can do so much damage if you have your Vanguard out and you're just hiding like at a little corner or something like that. I really suggest you start if you do that because it really can help you rack up some kills and stuff like that. And it might not be it's not the hardest thing. I think the assault is actually I think it's actually the best class. It's just the officer gets battle points fast. Like if they 1v1 each other, I think that the assault class would win maybe like 6 out of 10 times as a general player. So that's why I like using the assault so much, and they're good in pretty much all situations. So yeah, next up we're going to move on to the heavy class guys. So first one, this is when I'm gaining battle points. This is just my normal setup that I don't really change that often. I have Defender. When you take damage, you get battle points. Next one is Bounty Hunter. You get your battle point increased by 20%. And then the last one I have is Supercharged Sentry. I know people are going to hate me for this, but it's really good at taking down objectives and squads of enemies. Now my next setup is for taking down the objective or guarding the objective or something like that. I take out all of these star cards, in fact, and I put on the Barrage. And I actually would put this on, and or I mean, it's a toss-up between this one or this one. I personally would use this one. And then, I mean, I'd actually use Bounty Hunter if you're... I recommend you use this setup. This is what I used for a while, but this is my second setup if I'm like trying to take out the objective or something like that. If that's what I'm... If that's what my goal is, then I run this setup. And like I said, my normal setup is Bounty Hunter, Defender, take out these two, and put in Supercharged Sentry. So yeah, that's my setup for the heavy. And if you have a different setup, you guys can tell me in the comments what your setup is. I know not everyone's going to agree with my setup, but I know that this is a very good setup, and I've been using it for a very long time, and it's really... So yeah, next up, we're going to jump into the guns for the heavy, guys. Into the guns, the first one that I usually run is the T21, and there's one other blaster I suggest you use, but never use the scope as the T21. In my opinion, it really doesn't help you. It makes it, your gun has a disadvantage. Improved handling, run that one for sure, and run burst mode. That's a very good attachment to your weapon. And then the next one is, and this is for mid, long, short range. I mean, it's amazingly good. Like, I love this blaster, and I pretty much always use it. But sometimes if I'm in close quarters or trying to take out the objective, I'll run the TL50. I like to do secondary fire and improved cooling. So yeah, that's going to do it for the guns, and now we're going to run into our general tips. In mid-battle, and like this, only go for the blue bar, okay? Never go for the yellow bar, or else they're easily going to take you out, okay? And this especially goes for the heavy class because they have a bigger hitbox, and especially if you're being taken out by a squad, okay? If that's happening, then you really want to press the blue one because it takes longer to press the yellow one. So, yeah, always be crouching if you're at like a choke point. Never stand up normally, unless obviously you're on move or going very aggressive. But if you're being very not aggressive, I guess how you say that, just always be standing. Don't crouch when you're running. Try not to make that mistake. Because I've seen like people they sometimes crouch when they're trying to roll. And when you're being taken out by a hero, roll into them, and they'll get and then you can get so much more damage out of them. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the heavy, and yeah, they're one of the best classes in my opinion. So yeah, we're gonna jump out to the officer now. I said obviously getting battle points and its main purpose. The only reason I ever really use the officer. They do have some pretty good guns, but I mean I think everyone knows that this is the main reason that we all use the officer. And I don't actually use the officer for really any other purpose. And the match actually just started, and that's actually why I'm using the officer right now. I would not be using him right now if it was not the beginning of the match. And so getting into the officer is so... I'm just going to tell you guys some tips quick. That's what we're going to get through first. So the only situation you should be using the officer or is just to rack up battle points. I only use it for doing that. I mean, sure, you can use it for getting kills, but there's the other three classes specialize. They're better at that than the officer class. And I don't care what you say about that. I don't think you can ever change my mind, unless they obviously buff the officer, which I don't think they should ever do. They have really good blasters, but the real thing is their battle point earn. They gain battle points way too fast. That's why I'm going to guess that 9 times out of 10, the first person on the leaderboard is going to be the officer, okay? Maybe, I'll say 7 times out of 10, because I've seen lately, like, you can see the other guy's a specialist on the other team, but I'm, like, you can just, like, tell that, like, the bottom people on this leaderboard are not the officer. They're the assaults, specialists, and the heavies. The officers are usually at the top of the leaderboard, and they probably buffed them a second time because, well, the match has gone on. And that's one battle command is the reason why they get so many battle points. That gives them a 500 battle point head start than everyone else. It's pretty much guaranteed. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that's helped me get the hero first. Okay, if you're aiming for getting the hero first, the officer class is for you. He is your class. You probably won't be using many other classes because all you use is the officer, and I totally respect that. I did the same thing when I think everyone can agree that we use the officer for battle points. And now we're gonna jump into the guns and star cards. Blaster, it's the SE44C. I think this was very obvious to everyone who's watching this, and improved cooling and rapid fire. I don't think that's any weird thing to anyone who watching this. So yeah, there's one setup I have for the officer. Actually two, guys. So the first one is officer's presence. This is for obviously getting battle points. Next one is bounty hunter. You can see here. I think this is very obvious. And improved battle commit. Any of these, I just like the one that buffs your health the most. But the next one, if you're not going for battle points, I suggest you use. I actually keep on this card. Take out these two and replace them with disruption and this one. Oops, not that one, guys. This one. So I think this is the best for getting kills. Your best bet at getting kills. But for battle points, like I already said, it is this one and oops. And that one. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to do it for the officer. There's not really much I need to talk about. I mean, I just use them for getting battle points. So, yeah, guys, let's move on to the specialist in the game. It's as a she, and the officers too, and then the heavy and the assault are the boys. So, getting into the specialist. Specialist, if you didn't know already, is the sniper class for Star Wars Battlefront 2. The sniper, he's actually really good in sniping ranges. I don't recommend using him on the planet I'm on because, well, I'm just doing this because I already had the gun on and I kind of forgot. But anyways, the specialist is a great how do you say this? A great class for sniping, and they have perfect weapons for sniping. Half of the specialist weapons just feel like weak shotguns, but some of the other ones just are stat, bro. Like, I don't know what stat means, but I think if it means like it's good, then hopefully that's what it meant. But I don't think it meant stat. But anyways, like they have really good weapons, and we're just gonna jump into their star cards next. And if you are a sniper at heart in any game, you're gonna like this class, and you're really, I just trust me here, you're really gonna like this class. Never run bounty hunter. Like I don't ever have that one. This is my usual setup. I have the improved shot grenade. What? Improved thermal binoculars and move. I'm trying to move it. Scramble infiltration. I like to improve all my abilities because their abilities are kind of weak. But when you improve them, then the specialist is good in all areas. If you're on like Naboo, then I suggest you take out shot grenade or not that one. This one for the shield. Because you're gonna be needing it, and if you're on like a very choke pointy area and you are defending, run the trip mine. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the star cards. There's not really much to talk about for the star cards for the specialist. So yeah, we're gonna jump into the two guns that I really suggest you use. That I personally like to use. So first of all, for the specialist, I have the A280 CFE. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, guys. So yeah, the ones I like to run, I think are well, the reason why this gun is good, it's good for mid to short range, because especially with burst mode, and because it's pretty much a more powerful it's a very powerful weapon. Like whenever I use a specialist, I usually run this weapon in close to short range combat. But there's one other gun that tops this weapon in a couple of situations, and that of course is the amazing. You can aim down at one-shot headshots. I'm not getting gameplay of it right now, but the attachments I also use for the A280 CFE are the dual zoom and the burst mode. By the way, so for the NT242, I use the improved cooling and the dual zoom. So NT242, this blaster can one-shot headshot every single class. Is that not crazy too? It's probably the best sniper in the game, like at actual sniping. The A280 CFE is a good shotgun. It's not a good sniper. It's a good sniper, but like NT242 is obviously a lot better. The NT242 one-shot headshots, and that's one reason it's amazing. And it does 106 damage to the body. By the way, I'm not using the NT242 right now. I could have sworn I just switched, but I guess I'm not. But the NT242, it's just a beast of a weapon, guys. And if you're using the specialist class on like Camino for Supremacy or Kashyyyk, or you're sniping from a far distance, I suggest that you use the NT242. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten like 4 headshots just in like 3 seconds. Like, it's so easy, and it's easier to no scope in my opinion. Like on your first shot, obviously not your second shot because it goes up really high. But the NT242, you cannot deny it's so deadly to heroes. If you hit them once with it, they lose lots of health. Okay, obviously to the head. And if you can just hit them like 4 times, they're almost dead. Like I can't explain like how many times the NT242 has gotten me kills, and so many of them. This blaster is amazing. I'd say it's easily making it in the top 3 of a blaster ranking video. Like, this blaster, bro, it's amazing. Like, okay, yeah, I think I've talked enough about the NT242. So yeah, this video, yeah. So if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. We're on our road to 200 subscribers. We already got 154, if I'm not mistaken. And there is I added a watermark now in the bottom corner, the bottom right corner, I think, of this video. There's a button that you guys can subscribe if you have not already. You don't even have to scroll down and hit the subscribe button. It's right on your screen right now. And guys, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace out.